Well, hello. Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, man, we know this does not work. Let's get open for business here tonight. It has been kind of inspected. I didn't think that they were going to be able to get the contract done for DeMarcus Lawrence in 2 weeks. When you're talking about negotiating $100 million plus deal, it takes some time. Now, a lot of people out there kind of are lost a little bit with what this means. Understand, just because you've tagged him doesn't mean that's what you want to do. Because, in fact, we all know the Dallas Cowboys cannot afford to pay him $20 million cap hit and think that you're going to be able to sign other people like Earl Thomas and things like that, which is what the cap hit would be if they stick with that tag. Understand, we've been here before. You guys have forgotten where we were last year with Zack Martin. Zack Martin, when OTA started, he basically said, I'm not doing anything until I get a new deal. So we've got DeMarcus Lawrence right now saying, listen, I'm not getting my shoulder operated on. I'm not working out. I'm not doing anything until you get this deal done. So he's trying to put the ball in their court because he doesn't want to be thinking about this thing. He doesn't want to go in there, get hurt, have something happen, lifting a weight or whatever, and then not get paid. And I honestly can't say I blame him. He's second in the NFL in pressures. He has proven himself. It's time to take care of him. We have taken care of guys in the past of lesser degree, so we need to go ahead and take it. Damon Bird, mention your name from Dallas. No, I'm not going to mention your name, Damon Bird. What do you think this is? You know, I'm going to shout you out? Come on, man. What's happening, Tamir Parker? I believe we got your name put on the list on the shirt already, as well. And I know Q, I know you got yours right smack dab in the middle of the floor. Shout out to everybody who's had interest in signing the shirt and everything else. Miss Jackie, I don't know if she's here yet or not. Miss Jackie's getting the shirt as soon as my friend Deidre is done in Lake Charles. And on Saturday, let me say it again, Saturday, over by the Star, Mike Fisher has the Maverick Bar. Between 2 and 5, Miss Jackie's going to be there with the shirt. So go by there, meet Miss Jackie, okay? Be respectful because she'll put a foot in your ass. And sign the shirt, have a drink, have some wings, and make sure you tell them that you're there because of the Joe Boo Sports Report, okay? Make sure Mike Fisher knows that. And tell him not to throw me under the bus next time with Earl Thomas. What's the news on the shirt, Joseph? I was just saying, the shirt is going to be at Miss Jackie's next in that Maverick Bar on Saturday, this Saturday. Miss Jackie's going to be there between 2 and 5. So get there, get that shirt signed. I want that thing literally covered with names and everything. I want to have to start putting names on the back of it. So, you know, we'll have to like hang it like this way so you can see the names on both sides. Oh, we're definitely going to the draft. That's not without a question. We're going to be taking the RV, going right in there. We're going to be having a ball, and we'll be broadcasting there. New to the show. Well, shout out to you, Andre. Thanks for joining us. Victor, I see you're here. Victor, you can't be working any kind of job because you're everywhere. Yeah, Cole Beasley is definitely tripping. I see Beto, I see Tamir Parker, I see Kevin, I see Alvin Williams from D.C., I see Q Child, I see Denise Snyder, I see TGK TV. TGK, where are you located? Are you in Cali? I think you're in Cali, aren't you? Because that's, I got to find somebody in Cali. I need to talk to my man Barry out there from OAT, the official America's Team channel out there, and see if he wants to do a meetup and stuff there. Where's the draft? It's going to be in Nashville this year, and then the following year it will be in Vegas. And what happens in Vegas, let's hope it doesn't stay in Vegas. Let's hope we bring back some more talent. Yeah, I know he told me I don't think I could do that. I'm sorry, Victor, I love you and all that, but I just can't see See that? There's Miss Jackie. She must have. Were your ears ringing? Were your ears ringing, Miss Jackie? I've talked to Mike Fisher, and he thinks it's a great idea to be at the Maverick Bar. He said as long as everybody comes in and eats some wings and has some beer, he'll be ecstatic about it. No, I'm kidding. He didn't say that. But seriously, though, if you're going to go all the way over there and spend some time and everything else, Miss Jackie will make sure that we get pictures. And if you take any pictures of the shirt and stuff, please tag me or go ahead and post them to the Facebook page I have, the Power of 4 shirt, Dak Prescott. So that way we can really get this thing going and stuff, because we have the autograph signing at the end of the month that we're going to give it to Dak and things. So I want to make some noise. I want to make this thing really, really big. And maybe if it goes well, Mike Fisher will tweet it out, which will definitely help. You want a t-shirt? I actually have a Joe Boo store, Teespring's Cowboy Joe Boo. You can actually order some shirts and stuff on there. Oh, yeah. You don't think I'm going to go to the draft in Vegas? We may not be driving an RV there, but, yeah, we'll be there. All right, so back to let's go ahead and do this little clip here, because everything that they're doing right now this offseason is going to be directly related to this. Can the Dallas Cowboys take the next step?
Also addressing his coach's future in Dallas.
No one wants Jason to be around here for the long term more than the Jones family. I mean, no one thinks more of him than we do. But at the same time, I know he uses it. Everybody's back's against the wall right now. We've got a really good young team. We've got high expectations for this young team. And everybody, from Jason to his staff to our players to ownership to the organization, feels the pressure to take the next step. Our fans deserve that, and we haven't done it in a long time.
As for Jerry Jones, he publicly announced that he would support Jason Garrett, but then came the reports that they were looking at maybe not extending him just yet. So we will see a lot of news coming out of Dallas. Of course, Randy Gregory as well. So a lot to get to, that's for sure there. I know that Schrags was talking about there in Indy.
Yeah, there's a lot going on with the Cowboys, as usual. So thank you so much, Will Sullivan, back here at the table. Let's sort of talk about the State of the Union down there in Dallas. Can they take the next step in 2019, Nate?
Yeah, they can. They definitely can. I think this all depends on their offense. You know, there was a reason why Scott Linehan was let go, because I think people felt like there was a lack of creativity. And, you know, obviously, I was standing on the table with Scott Linehan. I played for him under 2 stints. I feel like in moments he can coach a very good football game. But then in an offense, in a day and age where offenses are ultra creative and trick plays are almost the norm, when you don't have that, it seems like you're behind on the fashion.
You were very honest about him his entire...
And I had to. I got to be honest. I'm going to praise him when he's doing well, and I'll be critical when he's not. Now, next man up, Kellen Moore, Jason Garrett, these guys are going to have to call an offense that fits Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, and Amari Cooper. Now, if we go out there and traditional drop back, Dak, you do 1-2 reads, and then you take off and run and use your legs, dump it off to Zeke, that is not going to be enough. You might scrape your way into the playoffs, but there's no way you're going to contend for a title. So for me, it's all about play calling. Just like we've seen these teams adjust themselves, the Rams over the last couple of years, the Bears last year, Kansas City, the list goes on. And if you're not doing what these teams are doing, or at least trying to mimic that, then you'll be behind.
Well, you look at the Patriots, they had totally ground and pound, and they won their way all the way to the Super Bowl. But, you know, in looking at Jason Garrett, and, you know, he's on the hot seat. I mean, we look at last year, Harbaugh on the hot seat, and I'm looking at him, how comparable they are. Jason Garrett's been there 9 years. He's 77-59, never got out of the divisional round. Last year, Harbaugh was on the hot seat. He had 7 playoff appearances in the Super Bowl. So he's definitely got to step it up and figure out a way to get an explosive offense. But I think the biggest impact on this team is defensively. They need an impact player at the safety position, right? Because they struggle against tight ends. You think about a guy like Earl Thomas who said, come get me. Right. And now you hear reports that saying that they're willing to come get him at a discount. You don't get an Earl Thomas at a discount. I know he's been injured, 2 lower extremity injuries, broken leg, but look at how he was playing last year before he got hurt. Still 29 years old. He's an explosive player that's going to bring a championship type of pedigree.
At Earl Thomas?
you got to add Earl
I
Thomas.
love it.
But you know how this game goes. As soon as you get up there in age, they're going to walk in that negotiating room and say, hey, Earl, you snapped your leg twice.
Yep.
You're a little bit of a malcontent in Seattle. We got some young guys. Hey, just give us a discount. We're trying to win a Super Bowl, baby. And what's Earl Thomas going to say?
See, but no China. That means no bueno. But I tell you what, see, but you tell Dak to take a Prescott to take a discount, right? Because because the good news about last year is Dak played well. He made some big plays later in the season, get him to the playoffs. Right? But what happens is now I feel like you overpay him. Because Dak Prescott, I believe, he's a 15 to 12 type of quarterback. He's not an upper echelon quarterback, but because the market,
he doesn't deserve to get paid more than Matt Ryan.
Listen,
he gets paid less than $1 million a year right now.
I'm sure he's getting that player. He's getting that player performance.
In my opinion,
he's done more than Derek Carr. Derek Carr's getting broke off.
We're talking. Look at Jimmy Garoppolo.
Just like you said,
Garoppolo.
The market's going to dictate close to 20 million.
Yeah.
And that's what lets you know that the window is the window is straight.
Right. So here's my point. 2019, the next step they have to take is to win the Super Bowl. I talked myself into this at 5 in the morning. I think the window is obviously so small, and this DeMarcus Lawrence situation is glaring.
Yeah.
They gave him an offer. It was low. They have to pay him because you can like your Van Der Esch's. You can like all of your awesome stud defensive pieces. He is the centerpiece, though. You have to bring him back. 25 sacks over the last 2 years. That is fourth most in the league. The offer was on the low side. Stephen Jones made it clear that he wants to bring him back, but that offer is probably on the low side because they have to pay everybody coming up. Sure, it's only DeMarcus Lawrence this year, but then you've got Dak to take care of.
You got to cut Sean Lee got to go. See you later, buddy.
But you want to, and Sean Lee's up after next year too.
No, you
and then
cut
you've
him.
got
He's out
Zeke
there.
Elliott you have to pay. And then who finally brought the offense together? Amari Cooper. You're going to have to pay him. So that's 4 studs right there that you want to keep on your team to win a Super Bowl. You can't keep everybody.
You're saying chips in now, try to win a Super Bowl.
Go get Earl Thomas, add him to the roster. Fine, do all of that. I don't know who on that team is taking a discount playing for the most prized franchise.
So you
Okay, so that in a nutshell pretty much covers it because the problem you have is you need DeMarcus Lawrence, okay? You can get away with not having the greatest offense in the world if you can attack the quarterback. And you need a pass rusher, and having stud pass rushers, they're few and far between. And you have got to take care of him. And the Cowboys will take care of him. But that's just not enough because we had a good pass rush last year. I would have liked to have seen, and you guys have heard me say this a million times, but have the big guy in the middle of that rotation who can stop and shut down the run. That, to me, is the big impact player, that as well as safety. And as we go through and start talking about, paying everybody and all that, understand this is where we were last year with Zack Martin. Remember how we started out the season? We had basically $19 million of cap space, right? And everybody said, oh, my God, you got to do something with DeMarcus Lawrence. You got to get Zack Martin, tied up. You've got to get some depth on the team and things. You don't have enough money. The sky was falling. And I said, relax, because the Cowboys can do anything they want to. That year was the first year we actually ended the season and actually had money in the bank. Typically, we were somewhere between $20 and $25 million over the cap. And we'd go through, we'd restructure, we'd let some people go and things like that. We'd get under there, and we'd be able to sign our players. And you guys are looking at this because, we make, $10, $20, $30, $40 an hour or something like that. And we're talking about millions and millions. It's not relative to what we think of. And for people that are saying that, $40 million isn't enough for him to make over 2 years, would you like to go to your job and know that this guy over here is making $50,000 a year and you're only making $25,000? Would you want to do that? And you're doing the same job? Or better yet, you've been performing better than that guy. So stop with this stuff about, you shouldn't pay. Because understand this. I said this in an earlier live stream. The reason why the salary cap goes up is because the NFL is making more money. There's a revenue split of about 52% of the money goes to the players of the gross revenue. So when the cap goes up like it did by $11 million, multiply that by 32, and then multiply that twice. That's how much more money the NFL made last year. About $750 million. And it made almost the same additional revenue the year before. And guess what? It'll make that again. So you're looking at this money of today, but it's going to be a smaller portion tomorrow and the next year and the next year and the next year. So it behooves you to lock these guys up if you believe they're going to be playing for the next 3, 4, 5 years. Had we done this last year, granted it was on 1 year's performance, we'd probably be paying him about $16, $17 million a year and been locked up. But because we waited, and some people say, just play him on the franchise tag and then try him next year, the price will continue to go up.
But he said he's not playing on the franchise tag.
Oh, well, he knows. He's forced it, and that's where I'm talking. This is where we were with Zack Martin. Because Zack Martin last year he still had a contract. Zack Martin still had a contract that was going to be a $9.3 million cap hit. So my point being is we had $19 million going into, or $17 million, no, $19 million. Forget. Let me make sure I get this right. Brian from SoCal, thank you very much for the super chat. I saw the Joe Boo stuff. He just needs a little bit more hair, and it's just Joe Boo Sports Report. No apostrophe S on that. I'll get back to you on that. So with that $19 million, we franchise tagged him, which was $17 million. We ended up wasting money on David Irving and tendering him for $2 million. We brought in Alan Hearns and signed him to a contract. We ended up bringing in a Cam Fleming. We ended up bringing in a lot of lower level free agents. We ended up redoing Zack Martin's deal, making him one of the highest paid guards in the NFL. And guess what happened? We still had $17 million that rolled over to this year. Let me say that again. We still ended up having that $17 million roll over. Libra's 15, thank you very much for the super chat. So they can do all kinds of stuff. There's some things that you may not want to do. It may end up being that you end up cutting Alan Hearns and grabbing $5 million. It may be that you cut Sean Lee and you grab $7 million, or you ask him to take a pay cut. It could be that you end up letting Lyle Collins go and you get $9 million. It could be that you restructure Zack Martin's deal and you end up getting, sorry, I lost connection with my Mevo there. So good thing is we got backup cameras. It could be that you end up letting go Lyle Collins. There's all kinds of things that you can do to get money. And when you look at Amari Cooper's deal, Amari Cooper right now, because everybody's like, oh, you got to extend Amari Cooper. Well, guess what? You can redo Amari Cooper's deal right now. And what's going to happen with that deal is you could actually reduce his cap number and grab some more cash there to use on somebody else. It's all in how you do the paperwork on it. And that's what the Dallas Cowboys are better than anybody else. But the reality is, you don't want to say, here, DeMarcus Lawrence, we're going to give you $22 million a year and let's just get this thing signed. You're going to try and negotiate and get that thing as low as possible. When you go buy a car, I hope you don't go in and say, I'll give you $25,000 for that car and the car is only $22,000. You don't do that, right? You haggle, and your best way to negotiate is the power to be able to get up and leave and force the other people's hand. Because I guarantee you, you go to a car dealership right now, you get close to signing that, and they come back and say, well, you know, there's the undercoating that has to go into it, the dealer prep and this, that, and the other, and that's an additional $2,000. And you get up and say, you know what? Thanks, but no thanks. And before your ass gets to your car, they're going to come back and say, how about we split that? It's called negotiations. They'll get it done. This whole thing buys them time to get the deal done. It keeps him from becoming a free agent next Monday. You don't want that. Believe me, you don't. So understand, you got some time before workouts need to be done. But you do want to get it done sooner than later so you know how much money you can spend, and also so that way he gets the shoulder done and it's healed up as soon as possible. So that's where we are with him. Now understand, we are less than a week away from teams being able to talk to players about free agency. They can basically start hammering out deals literally a week from Monday, from today. Earl Thomas has been talked about ad nauseum. You know, we got people that'll say he's too old, you don't need that guy, we're okay with Xavier Woods and Jeff Heath and everything else. There's other people that think that he would be the difference maker of getting us to a Super Bowl. Jay Hart, Rick, thank you very much for the super chat. Well, here actually in some regards, well, true. But until he signs it, I don't think it really counts against it. But even if it does, you're still okay. They still have room that they can work with because they haven't done anything with Dak Prescott's contract yet. Dak is still scheduled to be only a $3 million hit. So what you could do, and I'm still having some issues with the camera. Boy, let me switch up on cameras again. So what you can still do is you can still wait and hold off before you do Dak's deal if you decide that you want to go ahead and try and get some of these things in here. And if we're talking about Earl Thomas, he's talking about wanting $15 million. $15 million, which would be more than any safety out there right now. The highest paid safety is $13 million. Here's what I would say. Let's look at this right here. These are his numbers of his career. You can look at it. 16 games, 2010, 16, 2011, 2012. He ended up playing 6 full seasons before he missed his first game. And then the last 3, played 11, played 14, played 4. So he's had some injuries over the last 4 years. But when you look at this, look at how many interceptions he's had. He has 5, 5, 5. He's had 5 interceptions 3 different times. 3 different times. His worst years, he would have been tied with the Dallas Cowboys with the exception of 1 for interceptions on our team. Rick Thompson, thank you very much for the super chat. Look at how many tackles he's had a couple of those years. He's had 100 and... Where am I at? Tackles. He's had 122 and 105. So this is what I would say. Earl, we get it. You want to get paid. How about you bet on yourself, man? How about we pay you a base salary of about $9 million, guaranteed for the year. We give you a workout bonus, $500,000, $500,000. So you show up for all the workouts, you get $500,000 right there. How about we have you play 10 games in the season clause. You get another $500,000. Right there, you're up to 10. Let's say you match your interception. No, I tell you what. No, we won't even go that far. How about we say you get 4 interceptions on the season? We'll kick in an extra $1.5 million. Let's say you get over 100 tackles on the season. We kick in another $1.5 million. Let's say you make the Pro Bowl. We kick in another $1 million. $15 million right there. The good thing about doing something like that is that extra $6 million in incentives doesn't count against your cap until they are reached at the end of the year. That gives you cap relief. That gives you the opportunity to say, look, you go ahead and perform like you have in the past, you got your $15 million. If you don't, you're only on the chain for the $9 million. You follow me? Am I making any sense in that? That's where I look at it and say, hey, work with me, Earl. You're in the tail end of your career. We're the Dallas Cowboys, the place you want to be. We need to be able to not only get you, we need to get another defensive lineman to make sure that they're keeping you guys clean to help clog up the middle. We're trying to put the band together here where we can make a run and get you that ring that offense over in Seattle screwed you guys on. And get it in front of your family in your hometown. That's the kind of deal that you try and work, because at least in that way, both sides are giving something. Earl Thomas, yeah, you perform, you got your $15 million. If you get injured, you're still getting paid, but we're hopefully able to put the pieces around on this team to make that go. I say the same thing. You go to Sean Lee and say, Sean, buddy, we got two choices here. We don't want to do it this way, but we need money to try and get you a ring. Understand, you've been a warrior. You've gone out there on rubber bands with your hamstrings. You're part of the family, but the family, we can't meet the mortgage this month. And we need you to kind of help us out here. If you could take $5 million a year for this year, we can take that extra $5 million, because it's already going to cost you $3 million just to let them go. You'll have $3 million in dead money. And say, Sean, we take that $5 million right here. Maybe we can use some of that to help keep Cole Beasley, or maybe we can use that to help get Earl Thomas, or maybe we can use that to help get a defensive lineman. Understand, we're a family here. We are all in for this season to get that ring. You do not want to walk away from football without that hardware. And we can do this with your help. Now, maybe I'm crazy. And I know the Players Association does not like guys to take a pay cut. But in this instance, sorry about that. Hit the wrong button there. But in this instance, it's what we need to do to try and get everybody in here. Started out as an E5 and went to flight school. Hey, what's happening, Joseph Hartley? Glad you can make it in here tonight. I see D. Parker. I see Calvin Williams. I see Denise Snyder. I see Rick Williams, Connecticut Cowboys. How are you doing? Your name's on it, Connecticut. We got your name put on there yesterday. Mike Clark. Germ on the best. David Luna. What's he need to share with me, Joseph? We've been talking. Actually, we've been. The names are going to slip from me. I'll talk about that tomorrow. But we've been definitely looking at tight end, because even though we got Jason Witten, that is just really plugging the dike. That is a short-term thing. We've got looking at defensive linemen, and they've definitely been looking at safeties. The safety from Florida, who's a junior, God, his name slips me. Dude was a beast. He only started 15 games in his career, but has 37 games of experience. Don't know if he'll fall that far, but the good thing is there's a lot of defensive linemen and defensive ends in this draft, so we should be able to get somebody decent. Well, you know what, though, Wally? That's one of those things that I'm kind of changing my opinion a little bit, and it may be because I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, I'm a homer, and because it affects me. But here's the reality of it. I look at some of these guys that have had assault charges, domestic violence, they've been drunk driving and killed somebody, that have been able to play in the league. He's just smoking weed. Does anybody else see a little kind of problem with that? I mean, Jameis Winston grabbed the Uber driver in the crotch. He got, what, 2 games? We haven't heard Randy Gregory cuss anybody out. We haven't heard him drunk driving. We haven't seen him flick anybody off in the crowd. We haven't seen him go after and try and attack the coaches. We haven't seen him beat anybody out in public. We haven't heard about him stealing anything. We'll see you later, Colin. Thanks for stopping by, man. Yet, that guy is suspended more than anybody else. It's okay, Sandman. If they don't like it, they don't like it, man. That's all good, man. Sandman, after Miss Jackie gets finished the shirt, it's headed your way. And I got to tell you, Miss Jackie has got it planned up. She's going to be at Mike Fisher's bar on Saturday between 2 and 5. I don't know if you're going to be able to top that, but then again, it's Miss Jackie. Nobody can top Miss Jackie. Refresh. Oh, yeah, Sandman, refresh. There's like 40 plus. Oh, okay. Well, thank everybody. What, Stephanie's not in here tonight? Oh, my goodness. Mark, don't jinx this. Laugh out loud. What did I do? What did I do? How did I jinx this? What did I do this time? Smoke weed I'm not saying smoke weed every day. Now, let's not take it to a whole nother level, because I know how some of you guys are. But I'm just saying that in the grand scheme of things, where weed is becoming legalized, where universities are doing studies and making all kinds of medication and money, when the Speaker of the House is now running the biggest pot conglomerate that's out there, surely it's time for the NFL to look and say, maybe weed's not the worst thing. It certainly isn't as bad as some of the opioids that they're prescribing and things, like chiclets. So that's where we are there. And I'm curious to see if Earl Thomas's whole demands those are hard numbers. And understand, there's a difference between getting paid $15 million in Dallas and $15 million in New York. New York's going to eat that money up in taxes. Texas is not. No, I don't smoke. I smoke a cigar from time to time, but that's about it, and that's few and far between. That's usually only when the Cowboys have some good news. Wait. Franchise tag DeMarcus Lawrence and trade them for an upper first-round pick. You know what? I'll stick with DeMarcus Lawrence, because you don't know. You might get Taco. You can look at what John Gruden's done with this team. The only thing that you can look at with John Gruden and say, he has at least created salary room. But trading away a Khalil Mack, trading away Amari Cooper, and thinking that you're going to be able to get those guys in the draft, and now turning around talking about wanting AB, how are you going to trade a wide receiver who's 24 for one who's 31, who is a problem child? A good point, Miss Jackie. We don't know why Randy Gregory was suspended. It could be that he just missed a test, or maybe that he wasn't doing like the AA meetings or something like that. And it could be something simple. They have not reported one way or the other what exactly it was. First, when he said that, he was pissed off. I'm assuming we were talking about DeMarcus Lawrence. I'll smoke a Cuban cigar. How about that? Because I tell you what, you get a good Cuban cigar, you'll feel high as a bug. Them bad boys will get you right. Matty B, if we trade D-Law, I want 2 first-rounders. Yeah, like the Raiders got. Exactly. Yeah, okay. If you can do that, then okay. I'd be all right with that, but I'd still rather keep D-Law. The uncrowned sin, the NFL has not actually said exactly what it was. So we don't know if it was a failed test or not for sure. They haven't come back through and said. Victor, don't try and get Mark caught up. Oh, there you go. There you go, Dwayne. He didn't bring his family here just to leave out of state. I agree with you on that one. Well, here's the difference too. Okay, at least you can say this much, because when you look at David Irving, another guy that you wish, could you imagine if those two guys had their head right and were playing our defensive pass rush? Could you imagine? David Irving has just got this attitude that I don't give an F, you know? I just don't, because I was high, I guess because I was high, because I don't know, but he just doesn't care. Randy Gregory, it seems, is a little bit different case. I think he's just got some other things that are going on that just ain't right, because he is literally giving up about $20+ million. How do you purchase a 3X shirt? I'll tell you what, because I've had a couple people ask. I actually have. Let me go here real quick. And I can tell you, because actually I've got a discount for you too, because of the Dak Prescott shirt. But I got to pull up the code because I'm forgetful and old. And hopefully I've gotten not too many problems and getting a little bit better with the system here. Let's see. This is the link to the store. And let me get you the discount code, which gets you 20% off. Okay, so it's not letting me log in. Okay. I haven't done it on this computer. Password. Okay, that's not it. Let me try it on here. I can't remember my password because I'm old and forgetful like that. But hang on one second. Let me give you at least the link. This is actually the online store for the shirts. And Virginia's Finest, if you're watching, I've ordered the ones for you, and they just have not come in yet. And if you use I can't get it from there. Hold on. Bear with me, guys. Power of 4, all capitalized. If you use that one, if you use the power of 4, there we go. Let me type it in here. If you use power of 4, not S, that'll get you a 20% discount on them. Bam. Okay. That's the discount code. It's not 420. Really, Victor? Really, 420? Come on, man. Come on. Come on, Victor. Come on, man. Come on, Victor. Let's get real here, buddy. Damn. Oop. Wrong one. All right, so I'm still getting the hang of this now. Still working on getting the hang on it. But it's easy to spend somebody else's money. Oh, wait. Whoa. Hold on. Hold the heck up there. This whole, you guys act like this is money coming out your pocket. Understand the teams are supposed to spend 52% of the gross revenue on player salaries. 52%. I ain't mad at these guys for trying to get paid. I know I'm wearing a knee brace right now every day because my knee is screwed up. And that was from college football. That wasn't playing 5-10 years in the NFL like these guys do. These guys that are my age that can't get up off the sofa. These guys whose brains are scrambled. Understand, Ossie Thompson, I'm doing a whole lot of new things. I've got a whole new system here. You see this? This is actually the streaming set, which actually has controls and switches and buttons and everything else. And I'm just like trying to get this stuff together. So there's 1, 2, 3 different cameras right here. We have a computer right here that's controlling this one. I got a computer over here which all this stuff goes through, and I got the screen and I have to look up here with you guys and hopefully not screw up and say something off cue. So understand, I'm still learning. Yeah, one day maybe I'll be like ESPN when they've got somebody who runs the board and I can just sit there and talk and all that. So forgive me for not being perfect. Yeah, the commissioner's making, what is it, 40-some million a year? So, you know, the owners are making, look, you got the owners buying $350 million boats and stuff. Paul Sherlock, thank you very much for the super chat. Pay Dak, pay Zeke, pay D-Law, and the rest will be fine. Well, that actually brings up a whole nother issue here. When we start to, let's go here to Zeke. This is the one that makes you worry. Jerry Jones had went and said that, you know what, we're going to pay Zeke Elliott like Todd Gurley. He's a bellwether back. He's the guy. We're going to take care of him. And that's great. And hopefully he will be the guy for a long time. But then you start thinking about Todd Gurley right now, who the first half of the season, that offense was really humming. And then Todd Gurley played less and less. The last 6 games of the season, he never reached 15, and playoffs, never reached 15 carries. His extension, I believe, was 4 years, $60 million, with like 40 of it guaranteed. And now you're hearing the reports of arthritis, osteoarthritis. And I can tell you a lot about osteoarthritis. Mine is a lot worse than what his is because, well, I'm old. But what happens is when you get injuries in your knee, as it heals, the arthritis builds into it. Now, for me, when I first get out of the truck in the morning, I have to literally walk around and then it starts to loosen up. This is just like if I go for like 45 minutes in the truck or whatever, it just locks up. I literally have to get up in the middle of the night and move around. My body is that screwed up. Because if I don't, I can't get up out of the bed in the morning. My doctors prescribe 800 milligrams of ibuprofen. You know, you get a bottle of 100 and you get like 6 refills for this for a year. I don't like to take them unless I'm really, really hurting and I've got a knee brace that helps to unload it. But the thing is, once you get that arthritis, there's really not a cure for it. It's, you know, it's ice, it's heat, it's exercise and strengthening the muscles. It's chronic. So if you're looking at right now, Todd Gurley couldn't perform and play in the Super Bowl, couldn't play the second half of the season. You got 3 more years and about 45 million more. Now you're wondering, will he be able to finish playing the next 3 years? And you have to start looking then at at Zeke Elliott, who has never been injured. But the question you have to ask is, when you look at the longevity or lack thereof of running backs, how much do you pay him? So if you're talking about a Todd Gurley deal, you're talking 4 years, $60 million, $15 million a year. Marcus Moser was basically, you know, make him play on this year's contract, you know, and then take the 5th-year option the following year, run him in the ground and let him walk, which is kind of cold and heartless, but that would be the New England way. So that's where you look at the team as far as needs go, and you start saying, you need another back, one, in case Zeke Elliott gets hurt, because if Zeke gets hurt, we know what happens with this offense. But 2, if you are going to pay Zeke, it would behoove you to have another bullet in the gun. Have a change of pace back to try and prolong his career, because let's make no mistake about it. Zeke Elliott is a major part of this team. You look at between Dak and Zeke, I don't think this team goes without either one of these 2. I think that they are like yin and yang, or I think that is, you know, good and bad, whatever it is that balances the universe. That's what those two guys are. And I'm personally concerned because of all the running that we constantly do between the tackles, the pounding, the wear and tear that you're putting on him, that sooner or later, his body is just not going to be able to continue performing doing that. So, and the other thing on there too is, it's all about mismatches, and it's about deception as well. When you think about, and this is where I was talking to my cousin, when you think about the Redskins with John Riggins, who there was no more bruising back than John Riggins. He was the diesel. He was basically the sledgehammer. But they had another back, Joe Washington, who was a scat back, a small guy who was, he was hiding behind the offensive lineman, and he was fast and gets you outside. And to me, that's where they need to have somebody else. You could see that Zeke Elliott doesn't seem to have the same burst he did his rookie year. Some of those runs, he seems like he would have taken to his house in other years. So don't just run the guy on the ground. Let's try and keep him in good shape to be able to run for 4, 5, 6 more years before we lose him. Because when you lose him, finding another guy like that is going to be few and far between. So you're kind of needing to get that other back. We've been talking about the Cowboys are interested in the running back from Cincinnati. I've got to do a little more research on him and things and figure out, is that and what is it going to cost? Le'Veon Bell? No, you're not getting Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell is too damn much money. And that's one of those ones that I think of DeMarco Murray leaving the Cowboys and going to the Eagles. He got paid. But was that money worth it? Because that had to be a miserable year. And if you're Le'Veon Bell, who has been with the Pittsburgh Steelers and probably never had a losing season, the New York Jets are the ones that are trying to get you. The New York Jets. Going from Pittsburgh to the Jets? Is that really what you want? And here you got AB. I know you want to get paid, but, teams that they're looking at you right now, the Raiders, I don't know that the Raiders are stable at any stretch of the imagination unless you just want to be in Vegas. Talking about the 49ers, I'm not sure Jimmy G is going to be the real deal. And I'm trying to think of the other team that wants them. Was it the Cardinals? I think the Cardinals do. And the Cardinals are talking about drafting a rookie quarterback. So you look at all these teams, you're 31, it's going to take a couple years for them to get ready to play. By that time, your window of opportunity is probably gone. So you're starting to look at this, and that brings you to Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley's talking about wanting $20 million guaranteed. If you can go out and get $20 million guaranteed, by all means, please go get it, Cole. But this is another one of those cases that you have to wonder, is that the best situation for you? Here you have in Dallas, and I know you want to get the ball more, you want to get more money and everything else, but right now you look at this team that has an opportunity. They got as good a chance as anybody to make a run next year. I know I'm a homer, and maybe I'm crazy. I know Vosh wants us to get more offensive linemen, but I think Zack Martin is going to be in better shape because he's going to get that knee scoped, and he'll be ready to rock and roll. You got Travis Frederick coming back, so you're replacing Joe Looney with hopefully a Pro Bowl player. You got a Connor Williams who has more experience in things. You're going to see the offensive line solidify. You're going to see Amari Cooper and Dak and Michael Gallup and stuff work together in the offseason, so all of those should actually get better with time. You see Dak Prescott, it seemed like he learned a whole lot of things. Now you've added an experienced Jason Witten, who I don't need him to be the deep threat because I got Michael Gallup who can go deep, and I got Amari Cooper who can go deep who can clear things out. I'm happy with Jason Witten just finding a soft spot in the middle on third down and picking up a first down instead of taking a sack. So you start looking at that, you start drooling, or you should start drooling, if you're Cole Beasley now that the dark ages of Scott Linehan are gone. That should be everybody's eating there. You look at this offense and go from where they were in the 20s to possibly being a top 10 And I know people are going to laugh at me in saying that, but I honestly believe that they're ready to take another big step forward. Who can replace? Well, here's what the Cowboys are talking about: is talking about Allen Hurns. Allen Hurns should be healthy by training camp and be able to work out after his broken leg. Oh, okay. Okay, let me turn on the Skype there. Hold on there, Law. And make sure you call the right one, man, because sometimes you call the wrong one. Let's see. Excuse me. Sorry, I didn't mean to suck up in your throat. So, to me, I see the offense taking a big leap forward. Thank you, Incognito. I saw him say that. Actually, I'll call him so that way, because I've got 2 Skype addresses, and he always calls on the other one, and it comes in on this computer. Bam. So that's where I am with that whole situation, and
What's up?
how are you doing tonight, man?
Man, I'm doing great, man. I got a solution for everything. Are we live right now?
We are live, man.
We're live like 95, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, man.
I don't have any video, so you're just on the phone, right?
Well, I'm in the studio.
Oh, okay.
But you can hear me. That's all good.
Okay.
Is the video? My video didn't come through.
No video feed. We can hear you.
But you guys can hear me.
Yeah.
This is the thing, Cowboy Nation. I think that the problem is that we just fall in love with players.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem, and that's the issue collectively. I think that with Jerry Jones, he gets so much invested in with these players that it's hard to let him go.
Mm-hmm.
The salary cap era been miserable for us because
we hold on to guys too long.
We just hold on to them too long. Yeah.
DeMarcus Ware, Dez Bryant, and also too, now they haven't done this as much, but think about the guys that they overpaid after having just one good year. Your guys like Miles Austin, Jay Ratcliffe, Marion Barber. Oh my God, could you believe we gave Marion Barber a $45 million extension? He wasn't even a full-time starter. And that's
Wow.
what originally got us into cap hell, was all of those guys that they kept paying over and over, and then having to take Romo's contract and keep restructuring DeMarcus Ware and everything else, which kept bumping up, their hit down the road and stuff. So the question is, and again, you bring up a great point, because New England, they don't fall in love with anybody. They bring in some veterans that they know that can do a certain job, and they pay them. But nobody retires there getting a gold watch.
Nobody. And that's the issue that we've been seeing with the Cowboys for a long time. And a lot of people say, well, that's the Patriots. That's how they do their thing. We need to do it our way. But no.
Well, they're winning Super Bowls. What are we doing?
Hey, we winning attendance records. We filling out the stadiums, and we doing that.
Yeah, we're making money hand over fist. But you know what? If you're the NFL, okay, I'm going to play conspiracy theorist here right now. After that shit sandwich of a Super Bowl, and I'm going to be honest with you, that's the first time that I have ever seen one team with so few fans at. I don't honestly believe that LA is really a big fan town of the Rams, or San Diego. But if you're the NFL, don't you really want to make all that money if the Cowboys were in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, but we don't want nothing given to us, but I would take it. But this is the thing. All the NFL need to do is just remove, excuse my expression, the damn salary cap.
Oh, well, that ain't going to happen. Because all the small market teams and stuff don't want that to happen, because Jerry Jones is feeding everybody,
But you work hard, right? You bust your chops off.
Believe me, I'm always working, man. Between YouTube, between my family, between the wood board building cabinets and furniture, I'm working 24/7, man.
What if they tell you, look, man, you're working your chops off, but all you can make is $25,000, And I got to give Law, although you spilled over 25,000, although you made 50,000, we got to give Law a piece of that. But you can only work with 25,000.
Yeah.
That's what the NFL is pretty much doing. And then the problem is what I'm seeing is they need to recalculate everything, because if we got the attendance records, if we got all of the merchandise records and things like that, there should be some type of bonus or some type of reward given to that particular franchise for doing those particular things.
But Law, in the grand scheme of things, how much was that boat that Jerry Jones just bought?
I know.
Yeah, I mean, okay. We're at the point of him saying, "I don't care about making another $1 billion. I just want a ring." None of them guys are hurting for cash. Okay, none of them are broke like my ass or anything. So I feel what you're saying, and the Cowboys really haven't been successful since the salary cap came in, but. At least the strength of the NFL, that you don't have markets where they're just pretty much dead. And the fact that you pretty much, unless you're the Cleveland Browns or Washington Redskins, you have an opportunity to turn your team around in one season.
Yeah.
From doing that. If you go the Wild West and, basically it's the Cowboys and the Redskins are the only ones that have all that money, your small market teams aren't going to be able to do anything. It'll be like the NBA.
Well,
where you've only got a couple of teams that can really challenge for the championship. And that's the great thing about right now. Everybody's got hope right now.
But the only problem with that theory is that the New England Patriots keep winning, though. So in actuality, it's supposed to be a parity. If you look at the NFC, or if you look at the AFC, the teams that have been going to the Super Bowl out of the AFC, you can count them on one hand.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah.
Well, New England benefits from their division too.
Well, every year they ought to break up the divisions and things like that. Because if all those divisions was I guess before the salary cap era, then they should make this thing a little bit harder for those teams that are in poo-poo divisions. Because you can look on the map and say, okay, you get the Jets twice, the Bills twice. Those are 4 games that you can say to yourself, I'm going to win those games.
Yeah. But in truth be told, when you think about what our team has actually been doing in our division over the last, since about 2014, we've actually owned the NFC East, almost Patriot-like. This is what's crazy. Even in 2015, that was the worst year we had in the division. We were 500.
Yeah.
So, we've done the regular season stuff. We just can't seem to get our shit together in the playoffs. And it's not because of lack of talent. I'm happy that they're actually keeping Jason Garrett on a short leash and realizing that if this doesn't it doesn't work, then we need to do something else. But I got to be honest with you, and I'm going to ask you your opinion on this one. This sense of urgency is really come on hard and fast. And it makes me wonder, is there something going on with Jerry? Because you keep hearing these things from Jerry, little tidbits here. I don't care about money. It's about my legacy, basically. We got to win this thing right now. Things that are important are the health and Super Bowl and things. And it's like, I hope he's not sick or anything, or he's realizing I'm getting up there. But you can all of a sudden, since the end of the season, it seems like it has just been full on go. We got to win this shit now.
Yeah, it's a conundrum. We look at Jerry Jones in a sense where he's getting old. He's getting up there in age, right? Mm-hmm. But we also got to look at it from this aspect of it too, is that Jerry Jones also is the same type of mentality that he was when he first bought the team. So I don't think that Jerry Jones is saying, okay, there's some type of health element, because he looked damn good at that interview today, right?
True.
Yeah, so I don't know, man.
But here's the thing, even Stephen Jones is kind of, because Stephen Jones, he's the dollar and cents guy. He's the guy that does not like to spend money on free agents, does not like to overplay payers. But he's the one that's been kind of talking about, well, we might need to be looking at safety and things like that. So it's been collectively, this whole organization has got a hard on to get to the Super Bowl and win it.
They're going to have to reach in their pockets this year, though. And
they're going to have to get creative on some things. Are you on board for trying to get Earl Thomas?
Did Earl Thomas say that he wanted $15 million, or was that his agent that said he wanted $15 million?
That's one of those ones that I don't know where they came. I never heard him quoted as saying that, and that's one of those things. I put it out there like this: pay him $15 million, where it's say $6 million of its incentives.
Yeah, that's what I'm with the belief.
You know what I'm saying? Say, okay, we're going to give you $9 million guaranteed. $500,000 for a workout bonus, $500,000 for playing in at least 10 games. You get 100 tackles on the year. You get an extra $1.5 million. You get 4 interceptions. You get an extra $1.5 million. You make the Pro Bowl. You get another $1 million or something like that. And say you do all these things. I'm more than happy to pay you $15 million. But at least that gives you some. If he doesn't make it through, well, okay, it's only a $9 million investment. If you're the player and you believe and want to bet on yourself, well, hey, I can make that money from my hometown, and you know what I mean?
With no state taxes, yeah. So,
right.
Yeah, I agree 1,000,000% with you. I think that we need that type of dynamics out there.
Mm-hmm.
If you go ahead and say this, okay, with Earl Thomas, if you can give us 16 games, then we'll give you an additional bonus of $3 million.
Yeah,
but your base. Because he never had a salary. He never had a guaranteed money over $16 million.
Right.
So we can look at it from that parameter.
And he never had a contract over $10 million. 10.5, I think, was what it was for last year in Seattle.
Yes, and then I pulled up the information earlier, I guess a couple of days ago, on Eric Berry's contract. Eric Berry's never going to see that whole life of that contract. Well, so don't be. Yeah.
No, very rare. It's really, you just pay attention to the guaranteed money and the signing bonus. The rest of that stuff, like you said, you never see that. Either they're going to renegotiate and kick it on down the road, or you're just going to be cut before that goes through. So, yeah, you're right about that. Eric Berry's not going to, but I think his number is only still $13 million a year, isn't it?
Right. It's right around that sweet number there. I mean, it's one of those things where we want the Super Bowl, but you can't get there with used parts. You got to figure out a way to get some type of a spectacular player.
Stephanie has a question. I have a question. If a team takes on and signs these guys asking for higher dollars, does that mean the player would decide then to perform? That's a good question. Well, some guys end up, they get that contract. J.J. Watt, with the exception of getting injured, he got his big contract and he was playing lights out. You have other ones that were like Albert Hainsworth, where he got his contract with the Redskins, and he literally laid his fat ass on the ground while Michael Vick ran circles around him and things. So it really depends on the guy. But more times than not, these guys, look at Zack Martin. Zack Martin got his deal this past year, hurt his knee in training camp, and played on a bad knee all season long, and still was one of the top guards in football.
Right.
And I believe that, if DeMarcus Lawrence gets that contract, he's going to still continue to do what he's doing and try and earn the money on there. But, everything you do in the NFL is a gamble. There's no guarantees about anything. You are literally one play away from your career being over, and there's nothing you can do about that.
Right. And that's why I said earlier on my stream, a lot of people thinking that we are disagreeing with D-Law not wanting to sign for $17 million. No, I agree. I want D-Law to get his money.
Yeah.
But the collective picture would be, hey, let's look at everything.
Mm-hmm.
If we go out and we sign D-Law for $20 million, because that's what he wants, that's a lot of money.
Right.
We won't be able to afford anything else, but I understand what D-Law and his whole entire camp is saying, because you can look up Ryan Shazier, and the guy probably can never run to the mailbox, you see.
Right.
I mean, he could probably never play with his kids.
Well, look at Alex Smith. The Redskins were banking on him coming back and stuff, and paid him, $74 million guaranteed, and I don't think he's ever going to be playing the NFL again.
Right.
So
So that's both sides of the scenario. Yes, that's a good point, Mark. That's a real good point.
Yeah.
It's both sides of the scenario, Cowboy Nation.
Yeah, and believe me, I don't want to pay him $100 million and stuff, and then he never plays and earns it. Believe me, nobody ever wants that. But you got to understand, it's still the going rate. And all these people are saying, well, offer Dak $10 million. If he doesn't take it, then just let him walk, and we just go get somebody else. There ain't nobody to go out there to go get. Who the hell are you going out there to get? The Redskins are talking about trying to trade for Josh Rosen, which is basically trash from the Cardinals. It makes sense, at least from the standpoint of he's only owed $6 million over the next 3 years, as opposed to getting another retread. But look at how long they've been looking for a quarterback. Look at teams like the Jets and everything. I mean, look at us before Tony Romo. We got lucky to get Tony Romo. We got lucky to get Dak. And you need to go ahead and say, okay, he may not be perfect. He may not shine like, perfect. But we can do some things. He's shown we can win some games. I see Vosh and Lombardi in here. And Vosh will say, get him another offensive lineman to make sure he's protected. But I still would rather get me that big beast on the defensive line.
Yeah, it's better your best. But this is the thing. And, Mark, you brought up a good point. The thing is with this salary cap era, I go back to this. You just can't fall in love. You got to have all emotions out the window.
Yeah.
And you met Jerry Jones. You shook his hand, and I guarantee you he remember you. The thing is with Jerry, he's a very personal guy. He would reach into his own pocket, just like with the Brent Jones situation, or just like with the other situation before. He makes sure that he's personally, attached to you. You see?
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's more than football with Jerry, and we understand that. But think about this, and I'm gonna name these guys that play for the New England Patriots. There's no way Jerry Jones will allow them to walk out the building if they were playing for the Cowboys, especially at this level. And I'm gonna mention his name, Chandler Jones.
Right.
He would never let him walk. You see what I'm saying? Or Jamie Collins. Think about this. Those two guys, if you insert their production on the Dallas Cowboys team, man.
Yeah, but but here's the difference, though. Here's what they realize, though. If I can get value for that guy, better for me to get rid of them before they end up just walking away and getting nothing, be it a compensatory pick, be it a draft pick. We'll ship a guy to Cleveland for a trade anytime because we know the Cleveland Browns draft picks are going to be high, and we just keep drafting well. We'll move back if, we see some value, and we'll pick up more and more picks because they realize there's strength in numbers. You may not hit on all of them, but if I can hit on 3 or 4 in a draft and keep reloading with young talent and then go out and get a specific guy for rent, I can continue to keep reloading to my system.
Yes, indeed. And let me ask you this, too. If Taco was playing well, would we be having this conversation today about D-Law?
No, we wouldn't.
We'd be like, okay, D-Law, yeah.
He was drafted too, basically, because D-Law, nobody thought the D-Law. Jeremy, thank you very much for the super chat. Nobody thought that D-Law was going to do what he did. Remember, he came off of a 4-game suspension, 1 sack, and back surgery. So you were thinking, who are we going to have rush the passer? And all of a sudden, he ends up having, a career year that year, and made Taco irrelevant. But yeah, if we had just think about this. Think if Taco were actually worth what we drafted him at. What if Randy Gregory wasn't suspended for a week? What if David Irving had his head on his shoulder? Could you imagine?
Yeah, we would be in a whole nother boat right now.
To lose those 3, just like, damn. The hits just keep coming.
It's snake bitten.
Yeah, we're a little bit in overtime here, but that's all right. You're Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones. How big a player are you going to be in free agency?
If I'm Jerry and I'm 77 years old or more, I would say, hey, let's go. I hate to be trite, but let's go for it all. That's what Jerry would say. Stephen Jones, he's going to be the guy to say, Pops, Daddy, hey, old man, put the wallet down. Let's go for the long haul. Let's trust what we can do with our guys. Let's trust what we can build and develop, and let's not overpay for these guys. And there's 2 forms of free agency.
there's the free agency before the draft, and
Right.
then there's the free agency after the
draft.
draft. And one can argue there's going to be a lot of players out there after the draft.
Oh, yeah.
You want to know why?
Because the young guys are going to be taking their spaces. They're going to look and say, well, we got this guy who's a
Let's
young
go ahead
stud.
and cut this guy,
We can-
yeah.
who's basically making $500,000 a year. I got this veteran that's making $12 million a year. Bye-bye. So, yeah, you're going to be able to get – that's where you have the bargain basement shopping that I always like to call it, because you can still find value in a guy that'll fit here and there. And that may be what we end up doing with the defensive line. But if we can plug, if they can work out a deal with Earl Thomas, and I still believe they will, if you work that one out, then all of a sudden you're in a much better position in the draft, because this draft seems to be loaded with defensive line talent.
You know what? To be honest with you, with the Earl Thomas situation, it will be better for us to play with Earl Thomas after the draft, to be honest,
That is if somebody doesn't pick him up before then.
Yeah, that's the conundrum.
Yeah.
If somebody pick him up before him, and that's just the only thing. If we can make a play on Earl Thomas after the draft, because then we can look at the board and say, okay, maybe we fool around and got a safety that fell to us. And now we have more of the negotiation power, and then we can look at it like, hey, Earl, you've been on the market and nobody really wanted to bite that bait of 15 or 14 or 13 or 12 million. So let's go ahead and go with this particular parameters of salary, you see. And then on top of that, it could be other guys out there to play with. And
Well,
it's the same.
and you're
it's
right
the
about
same
that, too.
situation with Justin Houston that's out there on the board. Just out there free agent.
And and here's the thing: I don't think that you're going to see a lot of. I don't think that they're going to see that many mega deals in free agency. I could be wrong, but I think teams are actually gearing up for that 2022 either strike or lockout that's coming.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. See, we thinking
Jeremy,
down.
thank you very much
down,
for the super chat.
Down the line.
No, but you have to start thinking about that. And the other thing I keep trying to tell people, because they keep talking about how much it's costing now, and I keep saying that when you think about the salary cap, which just went up $11 million, right? But this is how you really think about it. Remember, the players get 52% of the gross revenue goes to salaries. So if it went up $11 million for each team, multiply that by 32 teams. And then multiply that basically by 2. So that means the NFL made an additional $750 million last year over the year before.
Yeah, but it's still a.
So here's the thing. So when you look at $20 million right now versus 3 years down the road, it's chump change. The cap will be up another $30 million a year.
But when you got pride out there, and I look at it. What D-Law's camp is looking right at, Khalil Mack's. And they're looking at $141 million. He's like, I want to be $141 million, $60 million guaranteed, stretched over 5 to 6 years. That's what they're looking at. And when they offered, the Cowboys probably offered them 19 and a half, and they said, nah. We probably would sign with it, but we want more guaranteed money. They probably was shooting D-Law 40 to maybe 45 million after you get your shoulder surgery done. And his camp is like, no, I'm not going to get the shoulder surgery done until you guys give me the money up front. And they're like, no, that's the problem. That's what they fighting over.
Yeah. They'll get it done, though.
They're fighting over the guaranteed money, but
they will get it done. I'm confident of that one, because having a pass rusher like that makes that defense run. So, Law, tell everybody what you got coming up on tap and how everything else is going to channel and where to find you.
Man, y'all, I don't have really nothing that I'm working on right now, but I really appreciate everybody. You guys can follow me at LAW Nation. Just type that into the Googles or the Instagram, and you should see my face or logo. Peace.
All right. He looks like James Harden. Okay, you can't miss him with the beard and stuff. I appreciate you stopping by, man. And the next time you take a look at it, the set's going to look a whole lot different. So I definitely got to get you back on then. We'll get that other third locker in here, get the 2 monitors. We need to get Vosh in here at the same time, so that way we can really break this thing in right.
Ask him how was it to put up 60.
Okay, Michael wants to know how it was to put up 60 points.
A breeze, man.
It was a breeze, man. It was a breeze. All right, man. I'll catch you later, Law.
Salute.
Okay, so everybody, I appreciate everybody coming in. I appreciate all the super chats and stuff. Like I said, the next time you see me live streaming from down here, the set's going to look a little bit different. I got to slide these over a bit, put in the other locker, get the other monitor and everything hooked up, and we're going to be doing some more and more stuff. Miss Jackie, okay, is going to be at Mike Fisher's Maverick Bar on Saturday between 2 and 5. If you are anywhere near Dallas, Arlington, Fresno, of the Star, and all that, go by, meet Miss Jackie, sign the shirt because we're going to be giving it to Dak. I believe it's the 26th or 27th of this month up at Chantilly at the autograph signing, and be part of it because I'm trying to get as many people out there as we can on it. We want that shirt to be literally covered with signatures of all you great fans out there. And as always, I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for all the support that you guys have given me and watching the channel. Any news that breaks on the Dallas Cowboys, we will be there bringing you our take on it and everything else that's going on. But right now, it's time to turn out the lights.